SOSG, 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 standing on solid ground.
Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast. And today's layer of the month, experience. Experience, as we all know, is the things that we have encountered in our life one time or another that we are able to talk about. We are able to share with someone else the events or the facts of something that we've already learned in our past. And we talk about it or we express it to teach other people. Like, for instance, let's just say like drug abuse. You go to rehab and you want to talk to individuals not only that have experienced the same thing that you have experienced, but the reasons why you have come to that point in your life. That maybe you may all have the same drug addiction, or you're in that facility to talk about the trauma that you have gone through with drugs. But people go through many walks of life and the reasons why they ended up on drugs. Sometimes it is a thing where it may have started when they were kids. It could have been a thing that you grew up in the household watching your parents on drugs. Sometimes it's not necessarily a person that they personally have been on drugs, but a loved one that has been on drugs, and the experience of what they had to go through watching that loved one on drugs and the episodes that they have gone through. So experience have many different facets or factors when it comes to life. Let's just say that the experience of being in the military. There are those that can talk about their tours of duty, where they have been. There are numbers of military people that have experienced what life was in the military for a long period of time and for a short period of time. But nevertheless, there is an experience. It could be a good experience or a bad experience, depending on the person. Now, I watch commercials, I've seen commercials during many shows that I have watched from time to time, where I see wounded warriors. And I see what all of these men and women had encountered in their lives, from the loss of limbs to the post-traumatic disorder that they go through, from the feeling of being neglected or ignored or not appreciated for what all they have gone through for this country. And my heart goes out to them. Really, it goes out. I have military men in my family, from the Air Force, the Army, and the Marines. So each individual have gone through their own personal challenges, and they may sit and they may talk about it, but their experiences can be somewhat similar, but some way they can be so far off the charts that they say, wow, now that's gruesome, or wow, I didn't know it was that horrendous, because of the many different wars or fights that they had to go into or fight, that their The challenges are different. Now, my brother, who served in the army, he's deaf, or partially deaf in one ear because of the gunfire. And, when he would be in conversation and his voice escalates, it's not that he's always shouting. Now, sometimes he is. Sometimes he can be mad and he can just get really loud. But then there are other times I have to take in consideration that he's not hearing very well. And that he may have learned how to tolerate it, but I'm sure it's affected him in some way. He doesn't like to talk about his feelings too much. If he does, that will be to the point in his life where he has reached a point where he needs to talk. He hasn't got there yet. And I think that he wants to put up that shield of protection because that part of his life, he doesn't want to show his vulnerability of being or to be vulnerable because he may feel like it's being weak. And it's not being weak, it's just being human. That he needs to confront that issue and not be afraid of what people may think of him. I applaud him. I give nothing but respect to my brother because he put his life out there. I have uncles. I have cousins. I even have a nephew right now who's in the military. So this is what I would consider a military family because we all have had that experience of seeing someone off. And I remember writing my brother a lot. My baby brother and I even put a song together for him and sung it to him and recorded it and sent it to him. He cracked up. He loved it because we know that was a part of our lives missing. We're so used to getting up, hey, hello, how you doing? Get out of my way. I was here first. Go do something. I was watching TV first. I want to watch the football game. We were so used to that he's no longer here. And that part of us was missing. I remember my dad saying when he took my brother to the airport to be flown to, I believe it was North Carolina. And he said when he boarded that plane, a piece of me left with him. And that experience was difficult for my dad. It really was. And that was the time in our lives when writing was a big deal. Writing letters, oh, I love writing letters. I still write even today. But writing letters was profound because it was personal. It was something that a person can go back and read over and over and over again and keep close to them at all times, no matter where they were. And pictures was a big thing as well. We would send pictures. All in all, we all have gone through a phase in our lives that we can teach someone else by telling them our experience about the trials and tribulations that we have faced and the challenges that we had to endure because of one situation in our lives to another. There is so much to talk about. The problem is not that many people that will listen or have time to listen. And we should not have to come to a crisis in our lives to be slowed down to listen. The word that I use, or the layer of the month that I am really going back and refurbishing from last year, where I started this journey, I'm just refurbishing or refreshing those layers and how standing on solid ground came into existence and what I did personally to build my solid ground. And this is where these layers are coming from. And the layer of the month for this month is experience. And as I've stated, and as it is defined in the Oxford Dictionary, practical contact with and observation of facts and events. And this is what having an experience is all about. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.